My name's Amanda. I'm a single mom in my 30s, dating again. Let's talk about dating apps.
If you come into a single parent's life, make sure you're ready for it. We already have enough on our plate as it is.
How do you date when you're a single mom with 2 kids?
I want to be rescued. I've spent the first...
Having preferences is okay until a man says he doesn't want to deal with a single mother.
I'm a single mom. Of course no man is ever going to want me because I have too much baggage.
When you decide to commit to a single mother, you're committing to her and to her kids.
So the one thing I hate about my ex is what an amazing person he was to me. And let me tell you why.
You are better off building your own family. You cancel out 99% of the problem. Kindly subscribe to the channel, as it is our sole form of support. Thank you.
Literally, it's me leaving my house every morning to get me and my daughter to work and school. And you think I have time for you to complain about me not texting you back?
With the millions of moms entering the hot mom era, I want to make sure we're on the same page that this has nothing to do with how we look. This is about how we know we are inherently worthy and valuable without anybody else telling us that. This is about how we can set a clear and clean boundary with anyone in our life. This is about knowing exactly what we want and need and making it happen without any fucking guilt. The hot mom era is hot because we're confident, aligned, and embodied. And that equals physical hotness. You know what I'm saying?
Being a single mom is honestly like a really hard place to be because the second that somebody shows interest, one, I have trust issues, so you're lying. And then secondly, like my brain immediately is just like, why? I have nothing to offer you. Like my gas light is on, my change oil notification just came on. I'm fairly certain that my tag is expired. My toenail polish has grown out. My heels are crusty. I'm surviving off of my kids' leftover chicken nuggets and coffee from the day before. What about that is appealing to anybody ever? So I'll just be here dying alone.
Basically, what she's saying is that she's a red flag, and you should avoid her at all cost. But truthfully, single mothers wouldn't be having to worry about dying alone if they just date single fathers. And that's what's holding them back. What they're looking for is someone with a clean slate, so they can pick up where the last guy left off. The truth is single fathers who are dealing with their own set of challenges can offer a level of understanding and empathy that someone without parenting experience might not. But that's not the route they're willing to go. If these women really seek happiness, they know where to go. They just think they deserve someone better when they themselves are single parents.
I do everything alone. I miss having somebody to talk to. And having somebody that actually wants to, like, see me. I'm just so lost.
This guy commented and said that my dating standards are too high for someone that's a single mother. I have high standards because I'm a single mother. I cannot afford to let somebody play in my face. And who told you that being a single mother disqualifies you from actually having standards and having to settle? I don't know who misled you, but the moment that I became a single mother was the moment I knew I cannot settle. I must always lead by example.
My standards are high too. I don't date single mothers. Don't worry, keep your high standards and you will stay a single mother. There's nothing wrong with having standards, but a man wished that women would have that beforehand. Should have had them standards before, and you would not be single. The amount of delusion these women are feeding themselves is crazy, especially this one. There's no way this woman thinks a millionaire is searching for women with kids. Is it possible? Yes. But the possibility of that happening is really, really low. And nobody disqualifies single mothers from having standards. We just wish they would have them before throwing themselves at chads and getting smash, and then later on expects another man to pick up that load and responsibility. What exactly would he gain going into a pre-built family?
How do you date when you're a single mom with 2 kids that aren't in school yet and you have nobody to watch them? But you also don't want somebody you don't know that well yet to meet your kids. You see what my problem is?
Let's talk dating as a single mom. I get this question all the time. Tips, advice, your experience. Are you seeing anyone? How's that going? And I would love to be able to give advice and tips on how that's going, but it's not going. Because as a single mom, our standards about fucking triple prior to. I already had high standards, and then now you bring my daughter into the thing, and like no one's good enough, right? On top of standards, time. As a single mom, we have little to no me time. So if I'm going to invest the small amount of me time I have into someone else and you fucking waste it, done. And on top of men not being shit, they don't fucking know how to communicate. My 2-year-old toddler has the capability to tell me what she does or does not want, does or does not like, and how she's feeling. But some way, grown-ass men are not able to use their big boy words to communicate. Weird. Moral of the story is I am not your girl if you want advice. I can tell you what not to do. I can tell you the men not to go for, but that's basically all I've learned over the last couple of years. So hopefully you have better luck than I do.
She said it. Don't bother dating them. Put yourself first. You gave another dude the most prized possession, a kid, without all these standards, and you're gonna make the next guy work even harder. What the fuck? Listen, you single mums need to stay out the dating pool with your baggage and problems, please. Comments section is full of single mothers validating single mothers. Can't make this stuff up. Personally, this is just insane logic. This woman just gave you all the reason you need to not pursue her. She's making you work harder, jumping through hoops to get her. But the guy who impregnated her didn't have to do all of that to get her pregnant. Shouldn't your standards be already high before you give your womb before a ring? Shouldn't you make sure the man you're dating has husband qualities and has father qualities? She's raising her standards because she expects you to make up for the poor decisions she made earlier.
I'm a hot single mom. Of course I'm going to drop my kid off at my parents' house before our date. I'm a hot single mom. Of course I'm going to get dressed up for our date only to fall asleep before leaving the house. I'm a hot single mom. Of course you might find food that my kid threw at me in my hair. I'm a hot single mom. Of course you'd want to upgrade me to be your hot wife. I'm a hot single mom. Of course my kid is my best friend. But you could be second in line.
I just have a question for the men who get on here and bash single mothers and say that we are disgusting leftovers and we're not worthy of love and we shouldn't move on and nobody wants a woman with kids and we shouldn't date and blah, 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 blah. Why are you talking about your mother like that? A lot of you come from single mothers. A lot of you were raised by men who weren't biologically your dad. Most of you have siblings who have different fathers. A lot of your mothers remarried or got a boyfriend after your daddy left you, and that was the man who raised you. So why would you talk about your mother like that? If your disgusting leftover mother didn't find a man after your daddy left you, you wouldn't have had a father figure. And it's so weird because if a man didn't find your disgusting leftover mom attractive and desirable, you wouldn't have had a daddy. And what does that make your mom? She has multiple baby daddies.
Well, someone's bitter. I guess those comments struck a nerve. First of all, it's not their mothers that they're talking about. And secondly, that's false. Only a relatively small percentage of men come from single mothers according to recent data. And if a man had terrible experiences with a single mother who used him for her own personal gain, it's only natural he would be angry. You have to consider that when a man is mistreated by the very person who's supposed to be a team player, it can have long-lasting effect. And that effect is the trauma that those single mothers caused by taking advantage of that man, and in some cases ruin their lives. Which is why men are advised to stay away from dating single mothers. It's only right they would be angry about what happened to them.
It's just me and my son. He absolutely will not be going with me on any dates. No babysitter, just can't go. It's just me and my son. When there's a ring on it, then he can meet you. It's just me and my son. Of course I expect you to be a father figure. We a package duo. It's just me and my son. I'm asking about relationship history, how you act when you get mad, and why those relationships ended. We ain't doing toxicity over here. It's just me and my son. So of course I'm going to stay single until I meet a really good man. Ain't no 2, 3, 4, 5 baby daddies over here. Only took one for me to learn my lesson.
What? Cause we know
You ain't got no will.
What?
You ain't got no bottle.
Say what you tell.
Let's just be honest.
Say what you tell.
Let's just be real.
Say one time.
Correct. If you don't want to end up heartbroken or broke AF, there are 5 things you need to know before you date a single mom. Number 1, you're not her priority. She's got a kid. The kid's the priority. Kids require a lot of attention just to keep the little beasts alive and unharmed. Just the tip number 2, if she's a crappy mom, she's not a keeper. If she can't even care about her kid, she's not going to be able to care about you. Just the tip number 3, it's a package deal. Even if she's an amazing woman, no matter what, if she's coming out of a split or if she's a single mom, she's got baggage. We've all got baggage, but she's got extra baggage. Which brings us to just the tip number 4. You're not my daddy. I know if you've ever dated a single mom, you've heard that. Just the tip number 5, baby daddy is also part of the package deal. Unless baby daddy died, he's still in the picture, even if he isn't.
I wish I had known this about 20 years ago. I have heard, "You're not my daddy." I'm glad I moved on from both of them. I dated a single mum of 3. Next thing I knew, I'm babysitting her kids while she goes out with her friends, only to find out she's doing other guys as well. Glad I got out of that one. My first girlfriend was a single mum. It was 15 years ago. I even married her and went through a pretty bad divorce. I have not been able to recover from that knockout ever since. Dating a single mum is like coming to a party after it's over and still having to help clean up. This would be the dumbest thing a man could do. Marrying a divorced woman with kids. It's a lose-lose situation all the way around. Those all sounds valid and things to keep in mind before trying to be a hero to someone else's family. Unless you're a single father, then dating a single mother should not be your priority. With the amount of women that are out there in the world, you should be able to build your own family. You owe yourself that experience.
3 reasons why you should never date a single dad. He already has kids, so you get the rare situation where you get to see what he's like as a dad. I sure hope you don't want kids, because after seeing that, you might want your own. He has the potential to change your mind. He's taking care of a kid or kids, taking care of you. Easy peasy. 3, a lot of women complain when a man doesn't know how to do things around the house. Well, single dads already know how to do all that stuff. So if you need help, he probably knows exactly how to do it the way that you like it already. So you won't have as much to complain about, unfortunately.
I cut off a guy that was perfect in every other way except for the fact that he had kids. I'm actually kind of sad about this one. The crazy part is we went on a date with each other probably like 3 years ago, and at that time he did not have any. I don't even remember why it didn't work out necessarily. And I was just kind of like hanging out with him again just to kind of see where it went. We went on a couple dates, but I started to feel myself really like him, and I was like, I know this isn't going to work. So I like didn't want to waste his time or my time. Because it's like, I simply cannot get over certain things that come with dating people with kids. I don't have any kids. I could go and move anywhere at any time. I can be spontaneous and take a trip. I can be spontaneous with my money and not have to worry as much because I'm not a parent. Being serious with somebody or committing to somebody with children, you take on certain sacrifices that they take on. And I'm just not prepared to do that at all. I don't want to be reminded of somebody's ex all the time because they're always going to be in the picture. I don't want to be with somebody that already shared certain experiences with somebody else that I wanted to experience for the first time with them. That's just how I feel.
This is understandable. I wish it was understandable for the men also. When they say they do not want to date single mums, the only thing they get in return is hate from women, as if men can't have preferences. The double standard is what's frustrating. When women say they want a man who's financially stable, tall, or successful, no one bats an eye. But the moment a man says he prefers not to date a single mother, he's labeled as judgmental, insecure, or even misogynistic.
Out of control, because I've noticed that, like, especially boys, and which, boys are hard to control anyway, right? Like, you by a dad or not, you know what I mean? Like, that's like, I got 2 sons, but I have noticed that, like, boys raised by single moms usually don't know the word no. Like they kind of run rampant. You know what I mean?
Really?
There's like, they don't have too many consequences. You know what I mean? Especially when it gets to a certain age where it's like their mom really can't even hit them anymore.
Why do you think that is?
I think, well, one, I think when they get old enough, it's like their mom literally can't physically do anything to them.
Let's talk about ghosting. Ghosting is probably one of the things you can do to a person. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is the ghosted, so the person that was ghosted, they cling on for dear life. Like, I've been ghosted and it's fucked with me. Like, fucked with me. And I was asking why, I wanted reasoning, I was constantly in my head trying to rationalize, I became fucking delusional, being like, they're just too afraid of their feelings, blah, blah, blah. Like, if you've ghosted someone, come on, we're adults. It's not that hard to say, hey, I'm just not into you like that. Sorry. It saves so much time and so much hurt if you just communicate how you're feeling. It could be the best thing you ever do. It also is going to make the other person feel a lot better. And yes, communicating is hard, and I get that, and I understand that people may not be as in tune with dissecting their emotions to be able to give someone, you know, a good reason. But in the same breath, like, if you're the one that's thinking of ghosting because you don't like this person, that's okay. If you don't like someone, you don't like them. But don't just cut contact and skedaddle on out of there and think that everything's going to be fine, because it does hurt the other person. Their self-worth is affected.
Ghosting has definitely affected both men and women, making dating more challenging and frustrating. We're in an age where people treat others as disposable, moving on at the first sign of something better, rather than investing in real connections. Add to that the fact that we're in a generation where having multiple partners and keeping your options open is practically encouraged, and it becomes clear why meaningful relationships are becoming harder to find. This whole grass is greener mentality is only feeding the cycle of ghosting, because people feel like they can always find someone else if things aren't perfect.
So the one thing I hate about my ex is what an amazing person he was to me. And let me tell you why. Because this man set the bar so damn high that now no matter who comes into my life, if they aren't a million times better than he was, they are just never going to be enough. Ever. I don't care who you are. If you aren't equal to what he was.
She's talking so highly about the guy, I started missing him myself. But madam, if your ex was really this amazing, then let's be honest, the problem wasn't him, it was you. You were the reason he walked away. These women don't realize what a good thing they have until it's too late. They get comfortable, take him for granted, and think he'll always be there. But once he's gone, they suddenly start singing his praises, wishing they had treated him better. The truth is, a good man won't stick around forever if he's being undervalued or disrespected. When he finally reaches his breaking point and leaves, that's when the regret sets in. But by then, it's too late. The damage is done and he's moved on to someone who actually appreciates him. It's a harsh lesson for these women. Losing a good man is a wake-up call they didn't see coming, and now they're left wishing they had made different choices.
Marriage scam is society telling you that men take care of women, because they don't. They don't, and they don't protect you either.
We ask for equality, so naturally they're not obligated to do any of these things. And yet, men still do. A lot of things you use every day invented by a man. The house you live in, probably built by men. Majority of people working for power companies, plumbing, electrical, all those trade jobs, mostly men. So if that's not taking care of you, I don't know what is. And men still protect women on a constant basis. Have you seen a woman in a dangerous situation or in trouble, whether she's on the side of the road or whatnot? Who stops to help her? Men! And this is while we simultaneously live in a society where we give them absolutely no credit for anything, and we're constantly bringing them down. And they still do these things for us. And if that's not like a clear indication of a lot of men's natural nature, I don't know what is.
Can someone explain to me why so many women get pissed about the dudes in their DMs even though they're posting half-naked pictures on the internet? Y'all will be practically naked with your butt cheeks out, your breasts out, full face of makeup, filters. You'll edit your photos so you look slimmer with a fat ass and bigger boobs. You'll edit your photos to not have cellulite. You'll do all of this stuff and post it on the internet, basically catcalling men, but then get mad at the dudes that are in your DM. And I can almost guarantee you that the majority of you, if y'all went missing, nobody would find you because you don't look like the person in the photos. Take off all of the makeup, take off all of the filters, show your natural self, and see how many dudes are in your DMs then. Some of y'all want attention so bad, and it shows. But not only that, you will do all of this for one guy to hit you up. The one guy that you're trying to get his attention, rather than just being classy and initiating conversation with the guy that you actually want. You'll be lustful for a bunch of dirty dudes in your DMs. Make that make sense. And then you consider yourself a high value woman. You cannot be mad at the dudes in your DMs if you're posting half naked pictures because you know exactly what you're doing when you're doing it. And you're doing it for attention, so it's stupid to play dumb like, oh my god, I have all of these dudes in my DMs. And let's not forget, a lot of y'all put your value in the dudes that are in your DMs, and those men aren't worth a damn. Stop catcalling men and posting half-naked pictures if you don't expect them to slide in your DMs. Okay, bye.
They're upset because it's not the 6-foot-tall man sliding into their DMs, and if it were, they'd likely react very differently. The reality is that many of these women post provocative pictures as a means to draw attention to their OnlyFans pages or similar platforms. It's a strategy to entice simps to subscribe to their lustful content, tapping into a market that thrives on superficiality. On top of that, many women who heavily edit their photos, pile on the makeup, and use numerous filters are often coming from a place of deep insecurity. They're trying to create an image that aligns with societal standards of beauty, and in doing so, they lose sight of their authentic selves. Instead of embracing their natural beauty, they rely on these artificial enhancements to feel validated and attractive. This reliance on filters and heavy editing is a reflection of their internal struggles. They're seeking external validation because they don't feel confident in who they are without those enhancements. This constant pursuit of perfection creates a delusion where they believe they need to look a certain way to be worthy of attention and love.
You know what it takes for a woman like me to go out on a date?
What it take?
I gotta get a babysitter for my kids.
Okay. Should I pay for that?
Yes.
I gotta pay for the kids that you made prior
Yes,
to
because
me.
guess what now? A part of me is my kids. I'm a business owner. I'm a mother. I'm holding down the household. That's why
And I shouldn't have to pay for your trying.
I'm not saying every day. I'm saying, okay.
No date.
A man that's for me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They know that, okay, she's a mother of 2. She's holding down a business. She's holding down a house. She's commuting from Jersey to New York. All right. How much is your babysitter? Oh, how much do you pay your aunt? Whatever the case is. Oh, I don't give her nothing.
9
you know
times
what?
out of 10, she taking her to her mom's crib and pocketing the money.
But a certain type of man that knows what it takes for a woman to raise children, I'm gonna give you $50 to give to your aunt or something like that. I'm not saying like $100, $200.
This is why I don't date one with kids. I'm being honest with you.
Do you
bro.
have children?
No, I don't. And
that's why, because a man that has or knows what it takes to date a woman that has children, they're gonna understand that.
I was a single father. No girl paid for my babysitter when she asked me on date. This is a reason some men stop trying completely. No one wants to be emotionally manipulated, so she expects you to raise another man's kids. Just to date her? Ladies, where is the upside for the man? Please explain. Women's mental gymnastics to make men okay with their bad decisions is amazing. The kind of man she's looking for is the kind of man that would never go for her. Expecting a man to pay for your babysitter on the first date is crazy. I really wonder where they get this entitled mindset from. And first of all, it's not his kids, nor his responsibility to do you such a favor. She stated that she's a business owner. If that's the case, why can't she pay for her own babysitter? You made your bed, lady. Now sleep in it.
Oh, I'm single. Like, I can spend the night single. I might get a phone call, 20 notifications, and send a few snaps. But I'm still single.
So I'm starting a new movement. It is called Bring Back the Patriarchy. I think collectively as women, we can all say we're over this trend. Yeah, we're kind of sick of it. We want it to die, put it to rest. We want our rights back to sit at home, take care of children, and cook and clean. We'll be more level-headed, less bitchy. And our slogan, put me in the kitchen and treat me with the utmost disrespect. Thank you.
The trend of being a strong, independent woman who doesn't need a man is dying out indeed. It seems like more and more women are realizing the importance and value of having a man in their lives. But again, this realization only came along because they can't handle the pressure on their own anymore, so they resort to their last option, which is to submit to a man for survival.
Is there, or do I need to make one, a dating app for single parents, like a good one? Because from where I'm sitting, there is a huge community of amazing people who are raising kids by themselves, who want a partner, who have amazing characteristics that people would look for in a partner, and they're not finding each other. Do I need to get on this?
What is like dating as a single mom part 2? So yeah, like I said, a lot of men jump into this with the idea that like I'm looking for someone to play daddy. I personally am not. My child has a father and he does his thing. She doesn't need a second father. No, I'm good off of that. What I personally am looking for is a partnership. And a lot of men get that confused. I think some men are intimidated by single moms because like most of the time you have your shit together. Some of us don't, but most of us do. You're very mature. Like you have like, I'm very much about like, I take care of my kid by myself. Like I don't have a lot of family help, none of that. So like full blown adult taking care of a kid. You can't just hit me up for a sneaky link. Can't just invite me out on a date tomorrow asking me today. Like I need a plan. Like I need structure because I have a kid that needs a babysitter. I personally don't introduce the fact that I have a child to everybody either. Everybody needs to know that. That's my business. That's not your business. And if we're just dating casually, like, and especially if I don't see this going beyond just like 1 or 2 dates, like that's a waste of time. Not doing it. Like for part 3.
Here we go again with this intimidation word they keep throwing around. The idea that men are intimidated by single mothers is just a way to deflect from the real issue. It's not about intimidation. It's about the reality of the situation. When a man dates a single mother, there's an expectation, spoken or unspoken, that he will eventually take on some role in that child's life. Whether or not the biological father is still involved, the new man is expected to step up, help out, and invest time, energy, and possibly money into a situation he didn't create. This isn't a light responsibility, and it's completely reasonable for men to think twice about it. It's not fear or intimidation, it's caution and self-awareness. Why wouldn't a man carefully consider the level of responsibility he's walking into? After all, it's not just a relationship with the woman, it's a relationship with her child, and that comes with emotional and financial baggage.
Okay, I'm ready to find the love of my life. Let's do this. Okay, great. Let's start by leaving the house. No.
Dating as a single parent goes like this. Him, are you free this weekend? Me, no, I'm not free this weekend. I've got the kids. Are you free next weekend? Him, nah, I've got my kids that weekend. Me, oh, well, if we're ever going to meet up, it's going to have to be in a wacky warehouse, dump the kids in there and we'll get drunk. Cheers.
If we were to go on a first date, what would your expectation be going into it?
The mindset, like, what do you bring to the table? What do I bring to the table? How could I be a contribution to your life? How can you be a contribution to my life?
So you want to go deep. Let's lay out everything on the table right now.
X out of the small talk. I don't want good morning text. I don't want you're beautiful. I get that. I want your mentality. I want how you think, how you feel. I want that.
Tell me if you want something serious, casual, long-term, short-term.
By the second, third day, you should know if you want to go things further. And I set the standard. Like, by second and third day, you know if you want me, you know you want something serious. That's it.
As a mom, do you feel like you're in a space where you could just do stuff casually now and still get enjoyment from that? Or are you always looking for something serious?
I think that, like, I stayed away from casuality because I want to, like,
experience something more serious and something more settled because I'm getting older and I don't want to be out here just sharing myself with anybody. I don't want to do that.
I honestly like her response. This woman here is an example of when a single mother matures after roaming the streets, when they're trying to date more seriously. But why wasn't this the initial thought before messing with multiple guys? And for some men, when they hear single mother, they're already making their way out the door because they don't want to deal with that. By the way, a woman who says I want something more serious now is a new way to say I have had too many casual hookups in my past. Now I am ready to settle down.
You know? You know, honestly, you're not that ugly. Thank you. The only issue is society. Like, why is it so disgusting or gross to date somebody like you? It's not. You know what? Screw it. I don't care if my friends make fun of me forever. Let's do it. Let's go on a date. Tomorrow at 6. That's perfect. I'll see you then. I'm excited.
Hey man, the next time you get ghosted, I want you to do something. Reach out to the woman who ghosted you and ask her why she stopped responding. Then I want you to ask for feedback, and you can do it like this. Hey, I'm just assuming that you didn't think we were a good fit. I'd love to know if there's anything that you think I could do better on my next date with someone else, so that I don't get ghosted or rejected again. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your honest feedback. This way, you're not going to make the same mistakes over again with someone else.
Absolutely not. You should never reach out to a woman that's ghosted you. It just means she wasn't interested enough, and she just wanted to get a free meal out of you. By ghosting, she's shown a lack of respect for your time and effort. Instead of wondering what went wrong or trying to win her back, it's important to realize that you're better off not investing in someone who doesn't see your worth. Your self-respect is valuable.
Hi, I'm a neighbor. I've been hearing some rumors.
I'm going to assume it's because I laid some pipe on some of the other women in the neighborhood. I'm not just a piece of meat that you could come here and think something's going to happen, okay? I'm a guy. I have feelings too.
I
appreciate you coming here, but I got to go.
And it's not until you become a single mom that you realize just how hard being a mom really is.
I'm gonna need you girls with kids to realize that you ain't got that many options. You lucky we even.
Last week, my daughter came to ask me what she could do to be less high maintenance. And I'm going to tell you guys, in case anybody needs this reminder, of what I told her. A man that makes this type of video or tells you that you're too much or you're too high maintenance is doing that because they want to give you less than the bare minimum. So since forever, men have put themselves on a pedestal. They made sure that we knew that they were the prize. So they would reduce our worth, reduce our value, and we were only worthy and valuable if we gave them children, if we were good housewives, if we did anything to serve them. And now that the patriarchy is being dismantled and women are finally stepping into that power and finally knowing that we are worthy and valuable just for being alive, it is making some men very uncomfortable. And those are the men who will tell you to reduce your value to please them. These are the type of men that instead of going internally and trying to be better humans, they will go externally and try to control women. I was one of those women that lost my value and lost my voice because I believed men when they told me to be less. And it took me years of healing to undo all that brainwashing. So this is a reminder to women of all ages. If a man is telling you that you are too much or you're too high maintenance, just because they don't see your worth doesn't mean that you don't have any. You are worthy, valuable, and lovable because you exist.
No, madam. No man is telling you to be less. They're saying, be reasonable and logical with what you're saying. A woman without a child is more valuable to a man because that woman hasn't given up her womb. It is not a put down, it is simply facts. And high maintenance in a woman's dictionary means require a lot of attention to maintain, require a high emotional investment or an excessive amount of money. That already sounds stressful. Why is it a man's job to regulate your emotions or fund your lifestyle? It's not sustainable for most men to constantly be on their toes, trying to meet endless emotional and material demands. The reality is, men want a partner who brings peace, not one who drains their energy and resources.
Happy Tuesday, y'all. So I'm not gonna lie, I have been lightweight struggling since last week when I discovered I was too old to donate my eggs.
You know, men who say, I'm not going to date a woman with children, has already dated a woman with children. They just taking a break. Just say you're taking a break. Let's be real. Men will get up and talk all this noise online in the comments and be right out there in the club in somebody's face who got kids. Okay, so, you know, they air their frustrations, but most of the time they will turn around and end up dating somebody with kids, marrying somebody with kids, All those men who lied and said that they will never date a woman with children end up dating a woman with children because the type of woman that they really want may end up having children already. And they just, you know, they're going to be like, okay, well. So, you know, men always say what they won't do, but they end up doing it anyway. You can try, but you'll never escape.
You're confused sleeping with for dating. I see the confusion. Yeah, I'll rather die alone than to date a mum with kids. Speaking for myself, I wouldn't want to date a woman with a child from another relationship. I am willing to help raise our child, not his child. Don't confuse dating to smash with dating to marry.
If you're in your 30s, single, child-free, and you're sad because of it, I'm here to give you all the reasons why you need to only focus on the positive. I'm gonna slap some sense into you. Reason number 3. Ex can legit be left in the past. You're not married to this person. God forbid you have a child with this person. You literally can keep it pushing and go next. You're not stuck with a person that could potentially have trauma, gambling issues, be a fiend, addicted to something, and the worst, a broke-ass person. Being single means that you dodged all those bullets. So be appreciative of this moment in your life and keep it pushing and just go next.
Do you want to know another amazing thing about being in your 30s and child-free? Being able to just go out, carefree, with no worries in the world.
I truly believe that these women who claim that being single and child-free is the ultimate lifestyle are really just trying to recruit other women into their empty, shallow, vapid way of living. If you pay close attention, their pitch is always the same. Free time, traveling the world, and living without responsibilities. That's it. That's their entire selling point for why their lifestyle is so amazing. But what they don't talk about is the loneliness that often comes with it, or the lack of deeper fulfillment. Sure, they have the freedom to go wherever they want, whenever they want, but at what cost? They also don't share the time they're crying behind closed doors and feeling isolated. The reality is that the freedom they boast about often comes with a heavy price, one that isn't always visible on social media. They're selling an incomplete picture of what their lifestyle really entails. And they're not child-free by choice. They just missed that window in their prime, so they have to play along.